NBA 2K19 tutorial number 27. Today I'm going to show you guys how to trigger 5-out spacing on 2K19 that's unbreakable. And I will also show you what's the best dribble move to use in said 5-out spacing versus a mismatch. Please go to my homepage though, my channel main page, and review tutorial number 4 and number 6 from my all 2K19 tutorial playlist to best use this move, and also to catch up on previous tutorials and even future ones. So with someone as great as Giannis Antetokounmpo on the game, really, the best way to utilize someone like him is really in 5-out spacing, which was previously impossible during the launch day of the game. But playbooks have been updated and we do have it available to us, and what you see here is unbreakable 5-out spacing with the best possible dribble moves being used within it. So to do so, you must first use the Bucks playbook, so go to the coaching sliders and apply it to your game, or get it on, buy the playbook or whatever. But make sure you do have the Bucks playbook. And initially you'll think you need to run the play for Giannis. Well, this is not true. What you do need though is you need players who have pick and roll ball handler plays or pick and roll point plays, but it has to be for a guard. So in this case, you have to give the play fist 5-out Bucks playbook to Eric Bledsoe, who is a guard on Giannis's team, which is the Bucks in this setting. So now let's take a look how to do this in detail and how to set it up. So you gotta make sure you give the ball to your 5-out power forward. So in this case it's Giannis, and yes, your 5-out player must be in the power forward position to do this. And when he has the ball, you call fist 5-out for your point guard. So in our case, this is Eric Bledsoe. So you can see I have called the play for Eric Bledsoe, and the team is going to get into this 5-out spacing. Obviously, you need a shooting center, so Brook Lopez in this case. But now you're going to get rock solid 5-out. And what do I mean by rock solid 5-out? Well, this is because observe how the 5-out spacing here doesn't break as long as I don't pass to the point guard. So you see the X icon above the point guard. See, as long as I don't pass to him, I can 5-out as long as I want, doing whatever I want. As you can see from there. See, the spacing doesn't break as long as you call the play for the guard, have your 5-out forward handle the ball, and don't pass it back to the guard. So from here onwards, really, it's straight 5-out ISO for you, and what you do within it is really up to you. But with someone like Giannis, obviously, it's going to be very deadly no matter who guards him. You're going to get all sorts of space to cook your defender, essentially. So you see, I bring it up with power forward Giannis, call the play for Brogdon, who's my guard, don't pass him the ball, spacing never breaks, and I can do whatever I want. And in this case, I did a spin jumper, which is a wide open shot, and do an excellent release. Like I said, how you utilize the spacing is really up to you, but some moves obviously are better than others. And you can see I'm just waiting for the player to cut out. Make sure you don't rush this, so you have the spacing. And obviously also matchups, some matchups are more favorable to allow over usage. So here is the best moves that I like to use versus a mismatch in 5-out. So you can see I'm matched up against Gordon Hayward here. I have Giannis. I'm going to start off holding L2, obviously call the play for Bledsoe, bring it up with Giannis, don't pass to Bledsoe. Now I'm going to flick the right stick to the ball hand while holding L2 to trigger this hesitation escape. Now, with the ball is in the air, I'm going to let go of L2, hold turbo, and push my left stick to the non-ball hand. So in this case, to the right side, right? Because the ball is in the left hand. So this will trigger this quick speed burst dribble move. I'm going to let go of L2 as this happens, hold turbo, and then once I see the defender touch my hip to cut me off like this, or to cut you off, make sure you flick the right stick down to trigger a behind the back dribble. Obviously it's going to go from ball hand to non-ball hand, and you're going to continue to drive until the defender touches your hip again. So you see Gordon touches my hip again here, and once he does, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push and hold the right stick diagonally away from the ball hand. So this is to the right side. This will trigger a overpowering Euro step finish, and you can learn those dribble moves and the Euro step, how to do it, how to trigger it in detail. Just watch tutorial number 4 and 6. But if you can pull that off, you're gonna get that shot in 5-out spacing all day. So the key to this whole thing is hold L2, start up with behind the back, and then just drive hard. And as he touched the hip, now you go behind the back again, and then when he touches your hip again, you Euro. You do all that because of the spacing, you're going to get a lot of these layups. Now, going behind the back as much as possible is crucial because in 5-out spacing, ISO, the really good way to defend it is to pinch. You see Rozier is pinching, but as I see him pinch and I'm riding Hayward's elbow or hip there, I go behind the back. So I go away from the pinch. Now he hits me again. I'm just going to Euro him to get him behind me. And in in 2K, if someone's behind you, open all day long. Like, against the right matchup with the correct players, in this case Giannis, this is almost impossible to stop unless they bring a double. They pinch, I'm just going to go behind the back, then I'm going to go Euro to put the on-ball defender behind me. The initial behind the back is so good because it gets you by the defender to set him up for the Euro, or it also helps you beat the pinch defender. They pinch that, I go behind the back, I pin off, I Euro. Very, very hard to stop. But obviously you need to practice to be able to trigger all these moves, on call. Watch tutorial number 4 and 6 of my all tutorial players to nail it. But as long as you don't pass to the PG or the guard, the spacing will never break and you can abuse it. You see, they bring help, I pass it to somebody else, but it's not the guard, so the spacing is holding. So this allows me to really do it again, so I'm running it twice in a row. They can stop it the first time, they're not going to stop it the second time. The efficiency of this is just too high, and the fact that I can run it twice without anything breaking or forcing me to set up again, it just saves me a lot of time. So you see here, I call it for Giannis, as long as, if I pass the Besso, I pass it back, and then I just call it again. Obviously, avoid passing the Besso, I should have passed to the left, but it's the same thing. They pinch, I go behind the back, I Euro to put the defender behind me, and with the Euro, it's actually pretty easy to trigger a perfect layup, so you're going to get a lot of excellent release doing this also. But make sure you do have your 5-out player in the power forward position. Hold out to protect the ball behind the back again, get them around you. And sometimes instead of Euro to finish, right, you could also double tap for spin move. So in this case, I don't Euro. I'm just going to double tap square or the shoot button, spin, and finish with a floater. Just as effective. Same thing here again. Bring it up with my 5-out power forward, call the play for Bledsoe, don't ever pass it to Bledsoe, do the dribble move, do the behind the back, get him on my hip, get him deep enough in there. This time I'm going to do a spin jumper just to change it up, and I get a step back, open shot. That's still a great shot, especially from within the paint. You can also obviously do hop step floaters instead of Euros. Euros are more powerful, but hop step floater is just a good change of pace. You see me there, I did it too early, but I still did the hop step to get away from the help defender. And you do this enough because it's so good. Once you get takeover, then really anything is possible. You can see my Giannis with takeover here. I'm doing the same dribble move. I'm just going to straight up blow by him because I have takeover. And with takeover, your player just becomes, I don't know, 30% more effective. I mean, a 30% more effective Giannis in 5-out is just, yeah, it's a wrap. So you can see me once again in takeover. I trigger the spacing, I'm waiting it out, waiting for the exchange to happen, get my 5-out, attack off the dribble beam, because of the takeover, I just straight blow by the guy, and I finish it. And another element you're going to notice as you do this more is that, especially if you do this to a mismatch, so in this case Gordon Hayward, you can draw plenty of fouls doing this. Like, you can see me, I'm just getting Hayward here, and he's just throwing himself in front of me. This is on Hall of Fame, no less, so a Hall of Fame on-ball defender. It's usually better than a human on-ball defender because it's AI. So imagine doing this to another guy online. Because as we all know, 99% or 95% of human defenders are not as good as, AI defenders. And if you can do this to Hall of Fame AI, you're going to do a lot of damage to human defenders online with a little bit of input lag. I mean, you spamming behind the back, very hard to defend. But obviously, just like any other money play though, like moderation is everything. You keep spamming this, you're going to miss some shots. I mean, are you going to shoot 60 to 70%? Probably, but are you going to hit 100? No. So find a good balance. Make sure you get the right offensive player doing this. So KD and Giannis is ideal, but please don't be doing this with Kyle Korver because you cannot do it with Kyle Korver, but you guys catch my drift. But the point is, this is very, very efficient, and you should utilize it whenever you see the mismatch available to you. Just understand the way it is right now. You gotta have the power forward to start off the play and call for the guard. That's the best way to trigger unbreakable spacing. That's always consistent. So if you do plan to run this, make sure you do put the your ideal 5-out player in the power forward position. That is absolute key. And obviously get a shooting center, because if you don't have a shooting center, people are just gonna double you, right? So don't do that. But for those of you who probably starting to catch on, this is really the beginner and super basic way of using this. I mean, this is the option number 1 of running the spacing. But because we can trigger this type of unbreakable 5-out spacing, it actually opens up the offense to a lot of new elements that I haven't really showed you guys yet, which I will be showing in future tutorials, because I've been preaching to you guys, hey, make sure you run an open corner side pick and fade with a shooting big man this year and drive baseline, because that is very effective. And it was very versatile from what I've shown you guys. You can really use that to break off from many plays and many freelance. But I really haven't showed you guys how to attack from the middle, but this is the way to go. So we're gonna move on to the Bucks playbook in the future for all money play sets and systematic attacks. Make sure you do learn these moves so you can better use the ones I'm about to show you in the future. And as always, thanks for coming by. I appreciate your support as always. Add a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see all of you next time.